Welcome to Adjust Your Mirrors, the #1 empowerment podcast show on the planet. Are you in need of motivation? Are you ready to take your personal and professional life to the next level? Then you've come to the right place. Adjust Your Mirrors. This is the podcast that's devoted to helping you see more clearly by making small adjustments. And now, here's your host, Reginald C. Allen.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Adjust Your Mirrors. Yes, I am your host, Reginald C. Allen, just thanking you, and you. And you know I can't forget about you, man. Ow! Yes, just thanking you. Listen, look, listen. The first episode of 2019. Yay, as Ice Cube would say. First episode. And if you've been following me on Facebook, you know that this is the year, 2019 is the year of execution. Listen, tired of lists, right? The list mentality. We've got 1,000 lists, right? We've been to seminars, we've read books, we've listened to several thought leaders. Some of us have listened to pastors, we've listened to motivational speakers, we've done all those things. We have enough information. Now is the time, 2019, to execute, okay? No more list. Go back, do yourself a favor, go back and look at the list from 2018, 2017, and I'm sure that there's some things on those lists that you didn't accomplish. Now is the time to execute. Listen, 2019 is this being the first episode. The last episode of 2018, I talked about how I went to prison. You didn't listen to that episode? Go back and listen to it, okay? I explain the mindset. I explain, why I do what I do. I'm inspirational. I'm motivational. But guess what? I also have days where, I'm not the most positive guy in the world. But ultimately, I want to help people to become positive. I want to help people to start their business. I want to help people to be all that God created them to be. The reason being is because of the things that I experienced as a teenager. Went to prison, and I'm going to get into detail as to what happened, what sent me there exactly, why I went to prison. But my life was just crazy. My life was in shambles. And you know what? Some of you are listening to me and say, well, I might need to turn it because I've never gone to prison. Some of you are in prison right now mentally. So it's a mindset, right? My whole thing is about adjusting your mirrors, adjusting your mindset, adjusting the way that you view the world. The mindset. It was the mindset that put me in that situation. So in 2019, we have to be very, 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 very aware of making sure that we have the right mindset. So today I'm just going to talk about that, right? You can either have the mindset of picking your poison or picking your passion. What sent me to prison? Ultimately, it was the things that I was involved in, right? But it was the mindset that I had. Why are some of you not accomplishing your goals today? Or I should say some of us, not just you, me as well. The mindset. Instead of picking our passion or creating a mindset that's all about achieving our goals, we become negative. We allow the poison to set in. And this is what we have to do in order for us to accomplish our goals. We first have to recognize that poison has entered the camp. You can't be successful. You can't obtain your goals if you don't get the poison out of the mix, man. Or one man, get the poison. Identify that poison, okay? So let's talk about it. Several different types of poisonous behaviors, right? Several different things. I can give you a long, creative, detailed list on so many things that's preventing us from accomplishing our goals. But you know what? I want to just talk about a few, right? The first thing I want to talk about, write this down. Number 1, settle. We're working jobs. We've been there 15, 20 years and we hate it. Well, you know what? Let me go back, because now a lot of times people aren't on their jobs for 15 or 20 years. That was back in the industrial age, but you know what I mean? You're on a job, you're doing something that you hate, right? And then you have some old head telling you, oh man, you got to just stay there. I remember I was at a job for 30 years. Well, you know what? Times have changed. And that's one of the things, I'm going to be honest, right? I'm older, 46 years old. I'm proud of my age, okay? I don't try to hide my age. If you saw me right now, you would see that I had a fresh gray beard, man. Go on Facebook and look me up. But one of the things that I respect about the millennials, they don't settle. And I remember I was working with a young man. He was telling me, listen, this is my plan. This, that, or whatever. And I remember the boss wanted to put him in a different position. And normally, like people in my generation, they would just go with the flow. But this young man, he was called to the office and they said, hey, we're going to move you into this position. We're going to give you, 50-cent raise. And he said, no, I'm not doing that. And I was like, whoa, what? He came back and he told me everything. He said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not settling for that. No, if they're going to move me to that position, they're going to pay me much more than 50 cents. I was like, whoa, I respect that. So you listen and look, don't settle. Don't get caught in cycles, right? Because once you get caught up in these particular cycles of just settling, it never propels you to your purpose. You just get stuck. And I know a lot of us are scared of change. We're just afraid of taking those risks, but that's all part of being a person who reaches their goals or who obtains their goals. You have to take risk. Now, I'm not telling you, because listen, at some point in our journey, we're all going to do things, we all have to do things that we may not particularly like. I get that. But what I'm saying, there's a difference between maybe doing something for a season to get to the next point in life versus settling. And that's a conversation that you have to have with yourself. I can't tell you when you're settling. That's a situation where you have to look in the mirror, as I always say, look in the mirror and begin to adjust things, okay? Or begin to analyze things. Am I settling? And if you are, then you need to get out of that situation. God has never called for you to settle. You have a purpose. You have gifts. You have things that you are supposed to be doing here on the earth. And settling is not one of them, because what happens once you settle? You begin to compromise or you begin to conform. That's not what you're supposed to do. Some of you are settling in relationships. You know that you have so much to do, but it's easier for you to just continue to hang around negative Nancy. You know she's negative, man. Get her out of the camp, right? Some of you are always around my man, Water Cooler Chris. Yo, meet me at the water cooler. And he's giving you all the latest and the greatest gossip about the plant, or I should say, the organization that you work for. You know that you can't settle. You know that you can't obtain your goals settling with those type of people in your life. You are the sum total of those around you. So don't settle. I understand your boy Drake said no new friends, no new friends. That's whack, man. That's not the truth. You need to put yourself in a situation to where you can meet new people, okay? And this is the last thing that I want to talk about. So we're talking about poisonous behavior that can prevent you from obtaining your goals. The first one was settling. Number 2 is unforgiveness. Now, I've spoken on this before, okay? But I want to talk about this, right? I just want to make my public announcement. I have not always been this motivative, inspirational guy. I've done a lot of things in my past that I am not proud of. I'm not, okay? I was a very negative guy back in the day as a teenager, I'm not proud of that. But what I want you to know is this. Although there were so many things that I've done, so many people that that I've mistreated, I'm not the same person. But one thing I refuse to do is allow people keep me in bondage to the things that I've done in the past. You can't allow the poison of your past to prevent you from obtaining what God has created for you to have. Forgive yourself. And also forgive those who have mistreated you. So it's up to you. What are you going to do? Are you going to pick your poison? Are you going to settle? or you're going to walk in your passion. 2019, no more list. We're executing. And in order for you to execute, you can't allow poison to hinder you. You can't allow the poison of negative behavior. You can't allow the poison of negative people, negative relationships. You can't allow that to hinder you, or the poison of unforgiveness. Move forward. Remove that poison and obtain what God has created for you, okay? So with that being said, I need you to make sure you go to iTunes, subscribe to the show. I need you to go to Facebook, look up Adjust Your Mirrors. Make sure you send me a private message. Also, listen, I need you to check us out on Instagram. Need you to go on Twitter. I need you just to come and follow us, okay? Follow me and make sure, listen, when you're over there at iTunes, make sure you leave a review, okay? So until next time, be empowered.
Thank you for listening to the Adjust Your Mirrors podcast with Reginald C. Allen. Be sure to visit the Adjust Your Mirrors private Facebook group, and don't forget to follow Reginald on Twitter at Reginald C. Allen. Please remember, when you're listening on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating review. Until next time, be empowered.